Someone is hating you because they have a bad thought about. My beloved child, in this moment, as the world grows silent around you and the shadows of unspoken judgment stretch across unseen corners, there is a story unfolding behind your back. A story whispered in half-truths and fueled by a thought that was never yours to carry. Tonight I want you to walk with me through the hidden corridors of perception where someone watches you not with understanding but with a storm of misunderstanding in their heart. They have shaped an image of you in their mind. An image carved not from reality but from the echoes of their own fears, their own insecurities, their own fragile beliefs. As you stand still, unaware of the glances that linger a moment too long, there is a tension rising, a tension that feels like the air before lightning strikes, as if something powerful, life-altering, is waiting to reveal itself. And every second you listen, every breath you take draws you closer to a truth that may shock you, surprise you, and change the way you see the people around you forever. There is someone who carries a bad thought about you. A thought that was born not from anything you said or did, but from the silent stories playing inside their mind. They see your strength and mistake it for pride. They see your silence and imagine secrets. They see your resilience and believe it threatens their comfort. In their heart, they have built a wall of doubt. Brick by brick, each one placed by assumptions, jealousy, and the fear that you possess something they cannot control. Your purpose, your courage, your light. And so their feelings shift slowly, quietly into resentment, into distance, into a quiet kind of hostility that hides behind polite smiles and disguised gestures. Yet beneath that surface, something much deeper is happening. Something big, something intense, something that feels like fate, preparing to reveal what truly lies inside the human soul when truth collides with misconception. And as the story moves forward, you begin to sense that this is not just about them. It is about destiny shaping a turning point in your life. Listen closely because the universe is guiding you toward a moment where everything becomes clear. Where the fog around their misunderstanding begins to lift. You have walked through days feeling an unexplained heaviness. A strange shift in energy, as if eyes were following you, as if unsaid words were floating in the air. This feeling is not accidental. It is a sign that something profound is unfolding. Their thoughts about you have grown, louder inside their own mind, like distant thunder drawing nearer, like a secret struggling to stay hidden. But the more they judge you, the more their own heart begins to tremble because deep inside there is a realization they are trying to escape. What they think about you says more about who they are than who you are. And as this silent storm rises, the universe prepares a revelation so surprising, so powerful that it will expose the truth they have been running from. A truth that will leave them, stunned, speechless, and forever changed. You are standing at the edge of a turning moment. A moment where the story shifts, where everything intensifies, where their bad thought begins to return to them like a mirror reflecting their own hidden fears. The same thought that made them distance themselves from you will now begin to challenge their own conscience, their own understanding of reality. They will see the strength in your kindness, the honesty in your silence, the depth in your patience, and each realization will echo through their mind like a revelation they cannot deny. They will begin to question themselves, question their assumptions, question why they allowed negativity to guide their heart. And as this awakening unfolds, the tension grows stronger, the suspense becomes deeper, and you feel that something truly transformative is about to happen. A shift that will not only expose what they believed about you, but also reveal the powerful truth of who you truly are. And now, as the story stands suspended, in this powerful moment, the air feels heavy with unspoken realization, as if time itself is pausing to witness what comes next. The path ahead glows with destiny, with a life-changing moment approaching like a rising dawn. You are no longer just a silent character in their thoughts. You are the lesson, the mirror, the awakening they never expected. Their bad thought is on the verge of crumbling. Their misunderstanding is trembling at the edge of truth. And the universe is preparing to unfold a revelation so intense, so unforgettable, that every heartbeat leads closer to it. Something extraordinary is about to be revealed. And as the story moves forward, every second becomes more gripping, more emotional, more powerful, drawing you deeper into a journey where truth meets perception and fate writes the next chapter in a way no one saw coming. My beloved child, as the night deepens and the quiet world hums with secrets that move unseen beneath the surface, you begin to sense a shift, a delicate turning of invisible threads, pulling destiny closer to revelation. There is a pulse in the air, a vibration that travels through the spaces between thoughts, whispering that the story you have stepped into is far from over. The one who carried a bad thought about you still wrestles with it, still holds on to it like a shadow clinging to fading light. But now their heart is unsettled, their mind is restless, and their spirit stands on the edge of awakening. They are beginning to feel the weight of their own assumptions pressing against them like a door they tried to close that refuses to stay shut. In this unfolding moment, every second feels charged with possibility, every breath thick with anticipation, because something powerful is preparing to break through. Something that will test their beliefs, reveal their truth, and illuminate who you truly are in a way they never expected. In the quiet corners of their thoughts, a realization begins to grow. Slow, subtle, and undeniable. They replay old moments, conversations, glances they misunderstood, and the more they remember, the more their certainty begins to tremble. What they once believed about you now begins to feel uncertain, fragile, as if it were built from sand instead of stone. They start to see how their bad thought was not a reflection of your character, but a reflection of their own fears. Fears of being overlooked, fears of being left behind, fears of standing in the presence of someone whose light awakens everything they try to hide. And as this truth presses deeper into their heart, a silent tension rises, within them like a storm gathering strength on the horizon, preparing to release a revelation that will change the direction of everything they thought they knew. Yet even as this inner storm intensifies, they struggle to accept it. Pride battles with realization. Ego resists humility. Their mind clings to the comfort of old assumptions while their heart pulls them toward truth. They find themselves caught between two worlds. One shaped by misunderstanding, the other by awakening clarity. Every time they try to look away, the universe brings a sign back to them. A memory, a coincidence, a moment of silence that echoes with meaning. They begin to feel that they were never judging you. They were running from themselves. The thought they carried about you becomes a mirror they cannot escape, reflecting every insecurity they once projected outward. And as they stand in that reflection, a sense of shock quietly wraps around their soul, as if fate is preparing them for a revelation so powerful it will leave them breathless, and while their inner world trembles. Your journey moves forward with grace, strength, and quiet resilience. You continue to walk through life without bitterness, without retaliation, without stepping into the chaos of their assumptions. Your calm presence becomes the very thing that awakens them. Your patience becomes the truth they cannot deny. The more they watch you shine without trying to prove anything, the more their own misconception begins to crumble. Something inside them softens, trembles, and begins to shift slowly, deeply, irreversibly. They start to see the truth that destiny was always guiding them toward. That the bad thought they carried about you was never reality. It was a barrier keeping them from understanding your spirit, your heart, your purpose. And now, as the story leans into the edge of transformation, the air feels dense with revelation, like a moment suspended between past and future. Their heart is no longer at peace with the thought they once believed. Their conscience grows louder, their emotions rise higher, and every second stretches with anticipation, as if the world itself is waiting for what comes next. Something extraordinary is drawing closer. A moment where truth will step forward. Where misunderstanding will face its reflection. Where destiny will reveal why their journey crossed paths with yours in the first place. The next step is approaching. Powerful and unforgettable, carrying a turning point that will not just rewrite their perception of you, but awaken something far deeper within their own soul. My beloved child, as the quiet winds of fate move deeper into the unseen spaces of this story, a new chapter unfolds like a curtain slowly lifting to reveal the truth that has long waited in silence. The one who once allowed a bad thought to grow inside their heart now stands in a place where their emotions are no longer hidden beneath layers of judgment. Their mind feels heavy. Their heart feels uncertain, and every passing moment pulls them closer to a realization they never imagined they would face. They begin to sense that everything they believed about you was built upon incomplete moments, misunderstood gestures, and fears they never dared to confront within themselves. And now, as these buried truths rise to the surface, an intense energy surrounds this moment. An energy that feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting for something powerful, surprising, and deeply meaningful to reveal itself. They walk through their day carrying a quiet storm inside, replaying every memory where they misread your silence, your strength, your stillness. They begin to see how their own worries shaped their perception. How their insecurities colored the way they looked at you. How their doubts turned simple moments into imagined stories. The thought they carried about you now feels like a shadow they can no longer justify. It follows them wherever they go. In conversations, in solitude, in the stillness of night, when the world grows calm and there is nowhere left to hide from their conscience, every realization strikes with a sense of shock, not dramatic, but deep, emotional, unforgettable, the kind that makes the heart tremble because it understands that something important has been misunderstood for far too long. Inside this transformation, a subtle shift begins to take place. Their heart softens where it was once hardened. Their perspective widens where it was once narrow. And for the first time, they begin to see you not through the filter of fear, but through the quiet light of truth. They notice the honesty in your presence, the sincerity in your actions, the depth of your resilience. What once intimidated them now inspires them. What once made them uneasy now reveals strength they never knew how to appreciate. And as this awareness grows, so does the emotion within them. A mix of regret, awakening, and profound realization. All blending into a moment that feels bigger than words, bigger than circumstance, bigger than the quiet distance that once existed between you. Meanwhile, you continue to move forward, with dignity, not to prove anything, not to win anyone's approval, but simply because your path has always been guided by clarity, compassion, and inner purpose. Your patience becomes a powerful presence. Your calm becomes a message. Your authenticity becomes the very light that guides them toward truth. Without confrontation, without accusation, without speaking a single harsh word, you become the turning point in their realization. And through this silent awakening, the universe gently reveals that every misunderstanding, every misjudgment, every hidden thought was leading them toward this very moment, a moment where their heart finally sees what their mind could not understand. And now, as the story stands on the threshold of an even deeper revelation, the atmosphere fills with suspense, with emotion, with the sense that something extraordinary is drawing near. Their heart is no longer able to escape the truth opening before them. The weight of their mistaken perception presses gently yet powerfully upon their soul. They are nearing the moment where they must confront what they believed, acknowledge what they misunderstood, and accept the reality they once resisted. The path ahead glows with an unseen intensity. And every heartbeat moves closer to a powerful turning point, one that will not only reshape how they see you, but also transform the way they see themselves forever. My beloved child, the night stretches deeper now, and the story moves into a realm where emotions become heavier, clearer, and more powerful than ever before. The one who once allowed a bad thought about you to shape their perception now finds themselves standing before the echoes of their own conscience. Unable to escape the truth that keeps rising inside their heart. They begin to realize that every judgment they formed, every silent distance they created, every unseen hesitation they carried toward you was never truly about you. It was a reflection of their own unhealed places, their unresolved fears, their fragile inner world. And as this realization settles into their spirit, it does not arrive with noise or chaos. It arrives with a deep, undeniable silence, the kind that makes the heart tremble because it finally understands how powerful truth can be when it stands face to face with the human soul. In this quiet awakening, they feel something shifting, something dissolving, something transforming. And with every moment, the weight of their misunderstanding feels heavier than any anger they once believed was justified. They walk through their thoughts like someone moving through a hallway of memories, touching each one gently, seeing moments they once misread, now illuminated with clarity. They remember the way you carried yourself with strength and assumed it was distance, when in reality it was courage. They remember your silence in difficult moments and thought it meant indifference when in truth it was wisdom holding back unnecessary conflict. They remember your resilience and mistook it for pride when in reality it was a heart that had learned to survive storms without seeking validation. And with every memory that returns to them, a quiet ache begins to form. A feeling that grows into something deeper than regret, it becomes understanding. Their heart now sees that the thought they carried about you was not only wrong, it was unfair. And this realization pierces through them with a profound emotional power they cannot ignore. As if destiny itself has placed a mirror before them so they may finally confront what they once refused to see. Inside their spirit, a wave of humility rises. The harshness they once justified begins to fade. And in its place grows a deep awareness of how much they misjudged the essence of who you are. They begin to see your presence as something rare. Something steady, something deeply rooted in authenticity. They notice how you never changed yourself to win acceptance, never lowered your truth to prove your worth, never stepped away from your inner strength even when you sensed wrong assumptions around you. And now as they understand this, their heart trembles with emotion because they realize that while they were fighting battles inside their own mind, you were quietly walking your path with grace, compassion, and unwavering dignity. This revelation feels like a turning point in the story of their soul. Not loud, not dramatic, but powerful in a way that touches the deepest layers of their being and reshapes the way they see everything around them. And while this awakening unfolds within them, you continue to move forward with the same, calm presence that has always defined you. You do not chase validation. You do not demand understanding. You do not ask to be seen. Yet your truth radiates naturally and it becomes impossible for them to ignore. Your journey remains steady and in that steadiness they find the lesson they were destined to face. Their bad thought, once strong, once convincing, once deeply rooted, now feels fragile and out of place. It begins to dissolve under the light of awareness. And in its place grows a feeling they never expected. Respect, respect for your spirit. Respect for your authenticity. Respect for the strength you carried even in silence. And as this respect rises, it brings with it a realization so powerful that it feels like a moment suspended in time. A moment where the heart pauses, breathes, and accepts what it once refused to acknowledge. Now, as the story stands in this intense and emotional turning point, the atmosphere fills with an unspoken electricity, as if fate is preparing to reveal the final layer of truth. They know deep within that they cannot return to the thoughts they once carried. They cannot hide behind assumptions again. They cannot escape the awareness that has awakened inside them. Their journey has shifted. Their perception has transformed. And their heart now understands that everything they believed about you was never a reflection of your character. It was a reflection of their own inner struggles. And in this powerful realization, something extraordinary begins to unfold. Something that feels bigger than apology, bigger than regret, bigger than words themselves. A new chapter quietly approaches, one where truth stands taller than misunderstanding, where respect replaces doubt, and where destiny prepares to reveal the next profound moment in this unfolding story. My beloved child, the story now reaches a place where every emotion, every realization, every silent transformation converges into a final powerful awakening that feels as if time itself has slowed to witness it. The one who once carried a bad thought about you now stands on the edge of a deep inner reckoning where their heart can no longer deny the truth that has unfolded before them. They feel the gravity of their past perceptions pressing upon their chest, not as anger, not as conflict, but as a profound awareness of how easily the human mind can be misled by fear, insecurity, and unhealed shadows. In this moment, they see clearly how the thought they once held about you never belonged to truth. It belonged to confusion, to misinterpretation, to the fragile parts of themselves they were afraid to face. And as this realization fully awakens within them, an overwhelming stillness settles into their spirit, a stillness that feels both humbling and transformative. As if a long closed door has finally opened to reveal the light they never allowed themselves to see. They stand inside this awareness like someone standing at the edge of a vast horizon, looking back at every step that led them here. They see how their judgment was shaped not by your actions, but by the stories they created in their own mind. They see how their distance was born not from your behavior, but from the fears they projected onto you. They see how the thought they carried grew stronger because they never questioned it, never challenged it, never paused to truly understand who you are beyond their assumptions. And now as they trace these realizations through memory and emotion, a deep sense of awakening fills their heart. It is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is sincere, honest, and life-altering. They realize that the narrative they once believed has dissolved completely, replaced by a truth that stands clear and undeniable. You were never the image they imagined. You were always far deeper, far stronger, far more genuine than they allowed themselves to see. Within this recognition, something extraordinary unfolds in their soul. A quiet transformation that reshapes not only how they see you, but how they understand themselves. They begin to recognize the strength in your silence, the integrity in your restraint, the wisdom in your calm presence. They understand that while they were wrestling with their own inner storms, you chose peace over conflict, patience over reaction, dignity over explanation. And this realization moves them deeply because they now see how rare that strength truly is. Where they once misread you, they now feel admiration. Where they once felt discomfort, they now feel respect. Where they once held distance, they now carry acknowledgement that your presence in their journey was not accidental. It was purposeful. It was meaningful. It was meant to awaken a part of them that had long remained closed. And as this inner awakening settles completely within them, the energy around this moment shifts, becoming gentle, expansive, and filled with quiet clarity. They no longer cling to the thought that once fueled their resentment. They no longer search for reasons to doubt you. Instead, they find themselves humbled by truth, changed by realization, and guided by a renewed understanding of how easily perception can deceive the heart when it refuses to look deeper. The story that once moved with tension now breathes with release, as if every unseen weight finally lifts into the air. And while they may never fully express the emotions that rise within them, the transformation itself becomes the message. A message that will echo through their choices, their perspective, and the way they look at others from this moment forward. Now the journey stands at its final threshold where destiny closes one chapter and gently opens another. You walk forward not with bitterness, not with the need for validation, but with the same grace that carried you from the beginning. The truth has revealed itself. The shadows of misunderstanding have fallen away, and the light of your authenticity stands unshaken, unwavering, quietly powerful. The one who once held a bad thought about you has been changed by the truth of who you are. And their heart will never return to the belief it once carried. And as this story settles into its final profound silence, a deeper realization remains that sometimes the greatest revelations do not arrive through confrontation or noise, but through presence, resilience, and the unspoken strength of a soul that never needed to prove itself to be seen. Subscribe our channel for daily prayer prophetic.